Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. So let's just dive in and let's start off with this short clip from Micah XRP over on Twitter. Micah PW20 is his @name. I hope that I'm saying that name right, by the way. But he posted this short clip, and this is from that individual who posted the Bitcoin video back in 2013 saying to buy it for $1. And I think that that's great for awareness. But since then, he's kind of morphed into a Bitcoin maxi that does talk down on other tokens, like, for an example, XRP. And we do see here they just can't stop talking about XRP, and I love it. Listen closely to this 19-second long clip, and then I will comment on it after.
XRP. You know I hate XRP. Why is that? Because it's a scam money. It's going to take away your wealth. Yes, it's pumping. Yes, I agree. It's pumping right now. I can see that. But this is going to do well because people don't understand it's a centralized system.
And I want to talk about a few things. So first off, it's a scam money. It's like the weirdest way to describe anything. I just don't know what's up with that. But the centralization aspect. We've talked about the centralization aspect behind XRP. It is the most decentralized token in this space. In my opinion, when we look at Bitcoin on the surface, yeah, it looks great. It looks extremely decentralized. But then you kind of uncover a few things. Like, for example, the hash power behind it. Controlled by 5 entities. A massive amount of it. It's like over 60 some percent. Again, making it centralized. Then you look at the holders tab, and less than like 13,000 holders control a large portion. We're talking about like 80% of the token supply. Again, another aspect that goes into centralization. And by the way, you might be thinking like 13,000 holders, that's quite a bit. It's not when you look at the 40 plus million holders out there of Bitcoin. So 13,000 individuals hold most of the supply. And some of the higher up values of Bitcoin are held by a select few wallets, like 100 or less. So when we look at Bitcoin, on the surface it looks great. A lot of people would say the same thing about Ethereum, but then all of a sudden the Ethereum merge happened, and then we've seen the major spotlight being put on decentralization. This is why I say beware of these top tier tokens like Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., because a lot of them are fully centralized. And we've been seeing a lot of information coming out around other tokens as well in regards to this area. When you look at XRP, XRP is not controlled by Ripple. Ripple did not make XRP. XRP is fully decentralized. I'm so tired of hearing this FUD from these individuals. Like I said, I think that him, touting Bitcoin at $1 to get into Bitcoin at $1 was great. I think that was great for awareness. A lot of people probably got rich. But at the end of the day, now we see individuals saying, like, did you ever explain to Hammertoe or Joel Katz, David Schwartz, for an example, how it's a scam or decentralized? I've offered before. He just blocks and ignores. And that is, of course, why I've always said, like, these individuals don't want to learn anything about XRP. They don't want to know anything about XRP. They just want to continue to shill their nonsense. And again, like, we don't know if this is a paid video that he had to make around XRP. We don't know what's going on here. Most of these individuals will continue to stack XRP on the back burner while, continuing to tout their nonsense. Remember, it always happens when XRP is pumping up in price. These are also the individuals that are grouped together with other major influencers that are shilling Bitcoin constantly, that have gotten rich off of Bitcoin, and they continue to shill it. Like, for example, here we have from the Moon Carl, when Bitcoin finally breaks above $100,000. And of course, you guys can see like Crypto, for example, here with Da Vinci. All of these individuals continuously tout Bitcoin and then talk down on XRP. And did you ever wonder why? I can tell you exactly why. They are terrified of what XRP could essentially morph into. Here is a snapshot from January 7th, 2018. Look at who's number 2 on the list, behind Bitcoin by only roughly $36 billion in market cap. Now you might be wondering, only $136 billion in market cap? But if you think about that, that is not much at all during 2017 and 2018. For a token to be in the number 2 spot during 2017-2018 with barely little to any information around what XRP was doing back then. Like, back then you actually had to do a ton of research to really kind of find any connections to XRP. Now it's plastered everywhere. Everyone knows about XRP. Everyone knows about the direct connections to on-demand liquidity, to instant settlement, to CBDCs, everything. And look at where we were back then. $130.8 billion in market cap. If the SEC never targeted XRP and Ripple, which by the way, I do believe that that was a big plan. Again, I think that a lot of individuals out there, and I'm just speculating here, I think a lot of higher ups that hold a significant amount of some of these tokens went after XRP on purpose to stifle and suppress the price action because they are worried and terrified of where XRP can essentially go in a major bull cycle. XRP is probably one of the strongest tokens in this space. Not only does it have the utility aspect behind it, but it is also one of the most incredible tokens in regards to technology as well. I've always shared my thoughts on XRP because I believe that this token itself is extremely suppressed. I think that a lot of the FUD that we see on XRP is paid FUD, and I think it's because they all know what XRP really is. XRP, at the end of the day, will fully disrupt the banking sector and reshape the entire world of finance as we know it. And I believe that it starts with the next major reset. And that reset is nearing. I've talked about this reset for a while. Here we have from Wall Street Silver, the Fed is now ultimately trapped. They either lower rates to combat a massive blowup, which is coming anyway, or they leave/increase rates to burn it all down. Kick the can or risk financial Armageddon. We do see global margin call hits European debt markets. Hedges blow up after risk gauges in Germany's government debt market exceeded those of the 2008 world crash. We are seeing a lot of weakening links around the entire monetary system. We've been focused on this for a while. Now, a lot of people think that this is going to cause the 2008 crash. Honestly, I think that this is a full-on plan. I've speculated this, and I've actually had a conspiracy theory around this for a while on this channel. Now it's kind of morphing into reality as we speak, but I believe that they're setting this crash up to usher in the new system. And that new system, we see warning signs everywhere. For example, Crypto Airy quoted this tweet just earlier today, and it was from City AM. A cashless society is proof we need to challenge the Visa and MasterCard monopolies. A cashless society is probably one of the worst things that could happen to retail. I still believe that fiat should be there. I still think that fiat should 100% be a choice for anyone to pay with. But now we are seeing a major move towards cashless. And we've seen this actually really happen with Starbucks as well. I remember that there was like a warning, I think it was during August, I want to say, or the beginning of September, where we've seen Starbucks post at their store that this store only takes cash, or it was like credit or debit card only. We don't accept cash, which was crazy to me. But you could really kind of see it morphing into reality as we speak. And also, we are seeing major plans happening globally around the banking sector. For example, here we have Secretary Yellen speaking about a World Bank evolution roadmap. I and world leaders will call on World Bank management at the annual meeting next week to develop a World Bank evolution roadmap by December. Listen closely to this.
The world cannot afford to delay or lower our ambitions. The current challenges are urgent. And that is why I, along with leaders from a broad group of countries, will be calling on World Bank management at the annual meetings next week to work with shareholders to develop a World Bank evolution roadmap by December. Deeper work should begin by the spring. Shareholders will then need to drive parallel, holistic reform efforts across other development banks as well. To accelerate this work, my team will step up our engagement with World Bank shareholders and management, and we look forward to discussing more details on this project in the coming weeks. So, the world can...
And these plans are in place. Everything is moving extremely fast. And I believe that this is going to be centered around crypto and also gold-backed systems. You might be thinking that I'm crazy. Well, let's actually go over to this video that got posted. This is back on October 7th. We did see, in case you missed it, gold's role in a changing world order with finance titan Frank Giostra. Hope that I'm saying that last name right. I'm probably not. But this is from Tommy Humphreys over on Twitter. Listen closely. This is about a 2-minute long video, and I want you guys to understand and listen closely to this clip.
Could you tell me your thesis for a monetary reset, a global reset? Yeah, no. So I've been obviously watching, the developments of the global financial system for many years. There are a few trends that that I've kept my eye on, and one is that for many years, physical gold, has been moving east. So, and while we were in North America binging on digital assets and speculating on all sorts of things, since 2010, central banks around the world have been accumulating gold at a feverish pace, and they're still doing it, 12 years later. A lot of that gold ended up in Russia and China. Now, Russia's been very overt about its gold purchases, is very transparent, and it's got the largest percentage of reserves in gold than any other country. China, on the other hand, is a little bit less transparent, and they report gold their gold reserves every number of years. Then they stop reporting for years, and when they do report again, the gold reserves go up exponentially. They haven't reported since 2019, where they reported 2,000 tons. But the way I see it is that China is the largest gold producer in the world and has been since 2007. China is the largest gold importer in the world. No gold leaves China. Mine gold in China, you cannot export it. So it's like a big black hole where the gold goes in and never comes out. And so my guess is that the next time that China reports its gold reserve, they're going to be a lot larger than anybody expects. And if you think about it in just the numbers, they've mined 7,000 tons just out of China since 2007. And what about all the gold they've imported? They're the largest importer, and obviously some of it does go to private citizens, but my guess is that they're preparing themselves, as Russia is, to exit the US dollar system.
And we are already seeing that. They are moving very fast away from the US dollar-backed system. They moved away from SWIFT. They don't want any part of this weaponized financial system that we are essentially utilizing against them. And all of this is centered on gold-backed systems. Why do I say that? Well, when we go and look at a few of the things that have happened recently, the BRICS is moving fast on central bank digital currencies fronts. For an example, this was India's central bank is working towards a phased introduction of a central bank digital currency. They're all stockpiling gold. We've been focused on this for a while. Even going back a little bit to the beginning of this month, on October 3rd, we did report on the BRICS countries are exploring establishing a new reserve currency to better serve their economic interest. A single currency based on a basket of currencies of the BRICS countries. The global economy is changing quickly. And yes, this is the biggest one that we have reported on since the central... I think it was centered on cross-border payments actually from Russia with China as well as all of the BRICS nations together. But we've been seeing a ton of updates around central banks, not only stockpiling massive amounts of gold, but the amount of movement that we have seen with gold as well as CBDCs directly tied to each other is substantial. Central banks have added over 300 tons of gold to their holdings so far in 2022. Now growth is slowing down, and we have not even solved the inflation riddle as we have $300 trillion in global debt. What a time to be alive. A lot of people are also looking at this in regards to a gold standard happening around a global reset. I believe that when we look at the gold standard being ushered back in, a lot of people ask me, well, if we see this gold standard being ushered back in, how will crypto work? How will DLT, facilitate any sort of, movement of money? It's the idea of DLT being the bridge. And the way that this will work is you'll have CBDCs issued out on private ledgers. All right, the central banks will have their private ledgers for their CBDCs. Publicly, you'll have retail utilizing public DLT for money transfer utilizing CBDCs. But the central banks will have their CBDCs issued out on private ledgers, like XRP Ledger, backed by gold. The CBDCs will be backed by gold the same way that we see stablecoins backed by the US dollar reserves, for an example. You'll have CBDCs backed by gold reserves, and the way that these will be transacted is through a bridge facilitated by a token like XRP as a medium of exchange. That's the biggest focus point that I've been making on this channel. Now again, will all of this morph into reality? We don't know, because it's all it is speculation at this current moment in time. But what we do know is this. a new system is moving rapidly behind the scenes. And this new system, to me, is all centered around central banks, ultimately. And what have the central banks been doing? Stockpiling gold. They have been hoarding massive amounts of it. The BRICS moving extremely fast on CBDCs and a new reserve currency. And what are they doing? Stockpiling massive amounts of gold. China, like in this video, as you guys heard, is the biggest holder of gold. And they have not reported their reserves since 2019. That is 3 years of stockpiling, not reported. This is going to change the entire landscape of the financial monetary system. Pay attention to things happening. Don't listen to this complete nonsense around XRP. You should be stockpiling Bitcoin right now. You should be looking at Bitcoin. I don't care about Bitcoin because at the end of the day, first off, my Bitcoin is QNT and Bitcoin itself is complete trash compared to most of these other tokens. And I've said it. Listen, I've said it time and time again. I don't care for Bitcoin. It's inefficient. The technology on it is extremely old. They're still utilizing the Lightning Network, which is a centralized network, and it's a failure system as well. Like if you guys looked up the Lightning Network and the amount of times that if you transact it on the Lightning Network, the transaction actually failed, it's a substantial amount. It's a broken system. Bitcoin itself is a broken technology. We have far better and greater technology in the space. And again, we are continuously seeing Bitcoin being touted as the main one. You should be buying Bitcoin every single day. You should be stockpiling Bitcoin. Again, I like to stockpile QNT. 33% less supply, a lot more utility behind it. Again, I don't care for Bitcoin. I care for these utility gems like XRP, like Algorand, XLM, HBAR, QNT. I mean, these are the main ones that I've been focused on. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As it's up to you all, have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.